When life presented me with narcissistic relationships, I was oblivious to the fact that any such thing actually existed. I believed I was strong enough. I believed that all people are wonderful, and most of all, I truly believed that I will be loved by my future soulmates. Welcome to another episode of The Awakenings. I am Rain Zaben, and today I will be sharing with you the wonderful insights of self-love. In retrospect, yes, those beliefs were correct and true. The problem was that I desired to be loved and be with my soulmate so very much that I felt that I was not really just enough by myself on my own. I had a lavish life. I traveled, I worked, I met so many people, and my life was nearly perfect. And the only thing I could not get over and desperately wanted was my soulmate. After an array of boyfriends that I could not last with for more than 2 to 3 months, at the most, knowing they were not the one, I finally said yes to a man that I felt saw me. He lavished me with attention. He saw nothing other than me. My hair was perfect, my looks were my personality, everything about me was great. And he was basically in my everyday life in abundance. Let me just tell you, I really didn't like him at first, and yet his attention, his words, his constant availability was euphoric. I felt I lived on cloud 9 and felt blessed to have waited this long to meet my soulmate. As the months passed and his mask started to fall off slowly, I realized that I was unhappy, and yet I was unable to leave him completely. My whole identity and belief in myself stemmed out of him. When he would very discreetly tell me things that confused me, I would blame myself. Was this a compliment? Was it an insult? I'm sure he complimented me. He says it's a compliment, but it felt like an insult. That was the confusion. Maybe I was not good enough anymore. Maybe I need to change certain things in myself and be able to get him back to love me the way he did at the beginning. And sadly, the abuse cycle began. I had no idea what abuse was, or narcissism, or anything for that matter. All I knew was love, and that I finally found it, and I was part of the team of the world of relationships. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I am sharing it because the one thing I learned the hard way is that I did not know how to love myself outside of a partner. I had no value. I felt incomplete without being adored and loved by a man. I didn't even know back then how desperate I was to be seen by someone and be adored. And having tasted it for a few months with my ex-Narc, I wanted more. The more he took it away, the more I needed it back. The more I forced myself to manipulate myself to be able to get it back, to change who I am. And the less of myself I became. And as I slowly lost myself to please him, I lost my dignity, my self-respect, and my identity. I became someone completely different, someone I would not want to be friends with, someone I could not stand looking in the mirror at. And as the abuse continued, I lost friends, I was isolated from everyone and my family, and I was consumed with thoughts of him 24 hours a day. Even when I was working, he was in the background. Will he show kindness today? Will he be cruel today? Will I do the right thing today? Will I screw it up? Will he leave me because I obviously am not what he thought I was? And this went on forever and ever and ever. His approval, his attention, his kindness, his happiness were all that I ever wanted to receive. It was as if I was on drugs, and he was my drug. When I would get a trinket of kindness, I would hold on to it for hours, lavishing in it. When he would take it away, I would agonize for it again. This, dear friends, is the cycle of abuse. At the end, nothing ever pleases the person. That person, more than having full control over you, over your feelings, and being the master puppeteer of your demise, is the only thing that brings them joy. I want you to ask yourself, how much do I value him more than I value myself? Why am I so desperate to get his attention? Where is this void I am feeling, and how am I working so hard to fill it up with him? And you will notice that you are feeling this way because you have no idea what it means to have loved yourself outside of seeking someone else's love. You do not know how to honor who you are outside of others. You do not have the ability to really say, no, I am done. I choose me, my sanity, and myself. To accept, love, and cherish oneself is the only way out of such a relationship. And trust me, I know what it feels like to even think or contemplate leaving a toxic person. It feels like your world is about to end, and the loneliness is so overwhelming that you cannot breathe just thinking of it. It's interesting enough because it actually pushes you closer and pushes you into the hope. I hope he changes. There's more hope there's more hope, the possibilities. One day he will turn around and finally see you again. He will finally appreciate you and be really proud of you sticking by him this whole time. Sadly, that will never happen. Narcissists are the greatest manipulators and lack empathy, which is to feel for others. And you have the knowledge of how to feel for others and sadly not feel enough for yourself. And so it's a marriage made in hell. And I know it makes no sense. How could somebody not feel anything for anybody? But that's just the disorder. So in general, if you do not know how to love yourself, accept yourself, and be yourself, then how can you attract someone who can feel that way towards you? I'm not telling you to leave. I am asking you to slowly focus away from pleasing him and slowly focus towards accepting him for this disorder. He will never see you, and you start to focus on yourself. Because your life is filled with colors, and yet as you focus with the Narc, you are in shades of gray. And sometimes there's a burst of color into your view, and it's because he's decided and chosen to give you from the peanut gallery, just to watch you glow and feel that he made that happen. So I admire you for sticking around for this long in this relationship. The strength you have to continuously feel unworthy and not good enough is exhausting. And there's so much more effort to put into finding others to be happy than it is to put in yourself. It's so much easier to actually put the effort into yourself. So give yourself some time every day, at least 10 minutes to an hour, where you force your attention upon yourself. I know how scary it is to focus on yourself, especially when you really do not like the self you are. So, yet when you spend some time focused on a few things that make you happy and feel better, in time you will notice that you're not so bad after all. You're just with someone who chooses daily to make you feel bad about who you are. You too, sweethearts, can choose to like who you are. The Narc has no power over you once you take your power back. Remember what they liked about you when they first met you. It was your independence, your confidence, your looks, your strength, and your kindness. And where it was easy for them to actually go in and take over is your own personal lack of self-love and lack of internal independence of others. Just visualize this person. Visualize this person looking at you thinking, oh, she's so wonderful, she's amazing, and she's looking for someone to love her. Let me be that person. And she'll believe in the game. Then he takes you, he wants everything you own internally to be his. And so he just starts to suck the essence out of you. And day after day after day, you deplete. And it doesn't matter that you're depleting. All that matters is that he can get that essence into him. As you fade, right? And the only times he throws you with a trinket or something nice or a peanut, that's when it's because you're about to wake up and be like, I'm done with this. But he stretched you so far that when he gives you that peanut, you hold on to it. You're like, it's about to change. He's about to change. This could sometimes last a few minutes, a few hours, and sometimes months, up to 3 months, where he puts the mask back on. And you're just like, finally, I have the man I was in love with back. But don't be deceived. This doesn't happen. Not with narcissists. So all you have to do, darlings, is slowly focus with the things that used to bring you joy, just to remember yourself and your strength and your confidence. And then you'll gently focus away from him. You will find parts of yourself again, and in time you will build your new foundation of your true, authentic self. I hope this was helpful. Press like, subscribe, and share. You really never know who is suffering at the hands of a narc and has absolutely no idea that that is what they're going through. Take care. See you on the next awakening episode.